What are you doing?
What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm practicing for when I become princess. This is essential.
Why are you talking about princesses, Maryam?
Because it's been my dream since I was a little girl. I mean, just imagine me in Cinderella's gown.
Ew! I think you're confusing yourself. Those are fake princesses like Disney, but there's also real princesses like those in the Rose Court.
Rose Court?
You heard me. We had the annual Tournament of Roses, Royal Court selection, and Arcadia had 5 finalists, one of which moved on to the Royal Court itself.
No way. I want to do that.
You're a little late, Maryam, but you're not late to our live show. From our studio, this is APN Show 5, and I'm Amish.
And I'm Maryam. We're starting off our show a little bit differently this time. Princesses do actually exist, and we have one with us in our studio. Nicole, take it away with the new Rose Court Princess live.
Thank you, Maryam, and thank you, Princess Swetha for being here live in the studio with us today.
Thank you, it's a pleasure to be here.
Congratulations on being named royalty.
Thank you so much.
The Tournament of Roses Royal Court has been an iconic tradition in our community. What made you first interested in participating in this election?
Really, when I was younger, I used to watch the Royal Court a lot. Watch that Rose Parade every morning on New Year's Day, and getting to see those girls and see those ladies just like be there and exuding their brilliance and confidence. It was always something that was so wonderful, and they were such inspiring role models as well, and I cannot wait to be that type of person for someone else.
I'm curious, what was that moment like when you heard your name announced?
Actually, I think the Pasadena Star News did a really, really good job of showing this. If you see like the pictures that are posted up there, most of them are me like covering my mouth in shock, because genuinely I did not expect to move on. Even as a finalist, I was not expecting that. And to be on the Royal Court is such an honor, and it was just like such shock and amazement. It still hasn't completely set in yet.
How do you feel to have stood out among hundreds of candidates?
I feel so empowered and so lucky. I feel like there's so much to be said about being on the Royal Court. All the other finalists from Arcadia were amazing. All of the 29 finalists, everyone was amazing. And the 7 of us that are on the court, everyone has been so sweet so far. And I'm really, really excited to just see what we're going to do in the next year.
Do you have any special memories you want to share about the whole process?
I think just the finalists and the semifinalists, those were really, really great moments. We made a really a little cute group chat with all of the semifinalists that were in my interview time, and we talk all the time. I talk to a couple of the girls quite often, and yeah, everything has just been so amazing. You make so many amazing connections, and you meet so many cool people from all around the Pasadena area. So it's been just an amazing experience.
Thanks again, Swetha, for your time, and we wish you all the best on the announcement of the Rose Court Queen.
Thank you so much.
Stay tuned to APN for those updates. And Miss Maryam, back to you.
Thank you, Nicole. Our gifted orchestra, along with the First Avenue, Dana, and Foothills Middle School Orchestra, are going to be hosting their annual fall string concert on October 15th at the Performing Arts Center. Support your peers and the middle schools while listening to the classical music of the string quartet. The show will start at 7 p.m. and tickets are $5 at the door, or the same price from any orchestra member. Show proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test taken no more than 72 hours before the concert.
A destructive new trend has been sweeping schools across the country. Sparked by popular social media app TikTok, here's George Garrido on this dangerous trend.
Since the beginning of social media, we have seen a fair amount of unreasonable trends. But the recent Devious Licks challenge has gotten the attention of young students and school staff. The term licks, according to Urban Dictionary, refers to a theft that results in high praise or respect. What started as a staged joke, where people would simply pull out a random object from their school out of their backpack, has led to more literal acts being committed. Even in our own community, stolen soap dispensers, mirrors, broken locks, and even building signs have gone missing from our school buildings. Our school administrators have taken note of these actions and have been looking into these recent vandalisms.
What the school is doing in response to that is we're monitoring the restrooms and the areas where we've had the damage done. In some areas we have cameras that are already up, and so we're trying to do our best to monitor to know exactly when it happened and then to try to track down who may have done it.
Some students appear to have different views on the trend, assuming it to be harmless and comedic.
I thought the Devious Licks challenge was pretty funny. It was just a harmless joke and nobody got hurt from it. And the dollar value of the items stolen weren't crazy high.
The cost of that and the time is extremely higher than people realize. To replace one of those signs, the total comes out between the cost and the work is about $200 per each one of those little signs. But I think everyone needs to realize this is your school. So when you are doing that, you are damaging your school. It's not your home, but it is your school where you spend the majority of your day while you're in high school, and you should take care of it.
Despite the comedic backstory to this trend, it still affects our school and community. This has been George Garrido. Back to you guys in the studio.
The Apache name change has been in the spotlight for several years. Well, now students finally have a say in what happens next. On October 18th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., the school district will be hosting an input forum where all students or staff can go and answer the question, what are your thoughts, feelings, and questions on using the Apache name to represent Arcadia High School? If you want to have your voice heard and hear others' opinions, be sure to mark your calendars.
As a sequel to the 2018 movie, Venom returns to the big screens as a protagonist in Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Let's hear more about it from Nataniel and his review of this movie.
After the extreme success of Deadpool and Logan, you would think that the production studios would embrace R-rated comic book movies. But no, Sony decides to tell the story of Cletus Cassidy and Carnage, two very extremely violent and crazy characters, in PG-13. To keep a short story short, the movie follows Eddie Brock as he gets an interview with Cletus Cassidy, an infamous fictional serial killer, and finds evidence that uncovers his final victim, and the state of California reinstates the death penalty to kill him. Cassidy encounters Brock and bites him to create the offshoot Carnage. This occurs while Brock and Venom are having trouble living together because Venom decided to eat human brains and fight crime as a lethal protector. This is possibly the worst movie I've seen in a while. It's funny, sure, but that doesn't make it a good movie. It is very clear that Sony does not understand how to handle Venom or Carnage. The movie expects the audience to have already read Venom comics and know everything about him in the movie before it even starts. It is never addressed why Carnage is stronger, or why he hates Venom, or why he's crazy. The actors did the best they could with the writing they had, but they still felt underutilized. It feels like a major plotline is cut from the movie, as it is extremely short and feels incomplete. The post-credit scene was awesome, and I can't wait to see its implication in the future. I would say that you should watch this movie just for the post-credit scene, but it already leaked like 2 weeks ago, so this movie is a 1 out of 5 spiders. This has been Nathaniel, and back to you guys at the Anchor's desk.
Well, Maryam, we've only done interviews with teachers on the show so far. How do you feel about doing something different and finally anchoring the show?
Honestly, I'm actually really hyped for anchoring this show this week. This is like way different than what we've usually done.
I know, right? But it was really fun getting to know all the new teachers. Who was your favorite teacher?
I stay unbiased, but here's Peter and Sandra asking that same question to our fellow Apaches.
Just answer.
No.
My favorite teacher is Mr. Nielsen, and he teaches the medical careers course.
Mr. Carranza, and he teaches chemistry.
My favorite teacher is Miss Young, and she teaches chemistry.
Mr. Delphine, and he teaches digital photography.
My favorite teacher is Miss Martinez. She teaches Spanish.
I would say my favorite teacher is Mr. Jones, and he teaches biology.
Why are you making your voice deeper?
This week's sports season was packed with emotions. It was very overwhelming and at times unbelievable.
Our girls tennis team showed impressive skill and our girls volleyball team showcased great teamwork. Now, here's Rahul live in the studio to bring you the latest sports.
Great this week, with a near flawless victory for tennis and an incredibly tense game of volleyball. Here's Ronan with a quick recap of the girls' tennis game.
Thanks, Rahul. As you said, our girls' tennis team has had yet another fantastic game against the Burbank Bulldogs on Tuesday. It was clear, as Arcadia's second time playing against the Bulldogs, that this game was going to be very one-sided. However, the Bulldogs fought hard throughout the game and still managed to earn a few points. Each game lasted only a couple of minutes, with the majority of sets being dominated by Arcadia. Defeating the Bulldogs with a final score of 15-3, our girls remain undefeated. Well, that's all we have for tennis. Congratulations to our girls' tennis team. Back to you in the studio, Rahul.
Our girls' volleyball team battled a great fight against Crescenta Valley yesterday. The game ended up with a final score of 3-2. Arcadia won the first 2 sets, however, Crescenta Valley had other plans and played incredibly fiercely. This surprise comeback led to another loss for Arcadia. In other Los Angeles sports news, the Dodgers played their first MLB postseason game this year on Wednesday. Their opponent, the St. Louis Cardinals, got on the board early in the game by a wild pitch in the first inning by Dodgers starter Max Scherzer. It was a great game with the score tied at 1 until the bottom of the 9th. The Dodgers defeated the Cardinals and will continue their postseason run following a walk-off 2-run homer by Chris Taylor. They will play a 5-game series against division rivals, the San Francisco Giants. Congratulations to our girls golf team on becoming the new Pacific League champions. Through hard work and determination, our girls finished the league 30-0 with the lowest team scores in 20 years. CIF and individual playoffs start next week, so stay tuned for some great golf.
Well, Amish, after anchoring for the first time, I think I've gained the confidence to become a princess.
I'm so glad. Can you show me your wave again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe just stick to watching princesses.
Well, Apaches, thank you for joining us for Show 5. That was a pretty info-packed episode, right, Amish?
Yeah. For more previous stories and segments, visit apachenews.ausd.net or youtube.com/ApacheNewsAPN. And make sure to follow us on our social media links down below. Stay tuned for our next show, which will be at 12:30 next Friday.
We will also be streaming our girls volleyball game next Tuesday against Burbank, along with their senior night ceremony. More updates will be on our social media.
This has been Amish.
And Maryam. We'll see you soon, Apaches.